Welcome back everyone to more Tony Stewart Sprint Car Racing. In today's video we're headed to Woodley, which is a very fun track. It's only a quarter mile in length. It has quite a bit of banking despite its designation as mid-banking. So a lot of fun here, but it usually ends up being somewhat of a demolition derby if you find yourself in any type of traffic. So it should be a lot of fun, but before we get there, we've got some repairs to do. You notice at the bottom of the screen, car performance is 74 of 76. So obviously we need to do just a little bit of repair work. Not a whole lot needs to be done, but let's go ahead and take care of that first. We'll get everything not only into excellent condition, but also fully repaired so that we have overall the most durability we can get. Now you notice here that we are at plus 76. Now the max for a fully upgraded car would be 120. So we're a good ways away from that. Essentially, we're about halfway there when you consider that we have no upgrades on 2 of the 4 parts of the car. So what I wanted to do, I've been thinking about this quite a bit because right now my brain is of 2 minds essentially. The majority of my brain is saying we don't need to spend any more money because hopefully a top 10 finish in the points for season number 3 will get us an opportunity to move up into the next series, which would be the 305s. And if we're able to do that, then we need all the money we can get when we get there. So that's what the main part of my brain is telling me. However, there's another part of my brain that's saying, why don't we just go at least one more upgrade, if not totally all out, and try to upgrade this car and just see what we can get out of it. See if we can get an opportunity for victories, an opportunity for top 5s, and so on, and just see how good we can do in this season. And that's the part of the brain that won for today. So what I've decided to do, we got $32,717 in the bank account right now. What I want to do is come in under the chassis, and I've chosen the chassis because with it being the second most expensive to the engine, I'm just going to assume that that means it gives us the second most benefit as far as every point of performance gives us more increase in overall speed of the car than would the suspension. Now, I could be totally wrong on that. I have no idea ultimately how the game is coded, so we're just going to pick something and we're going to go with it. So if I click on the Y button to buy a new part, and if we go forward, now of course right now we have very little upgrades. I mean, we're at a plus 9. You start out at a plus 2, so a small amount of upgrade, but for all intents and purposes, we have not upgraded this part very much at all. We move over to a 2-star, and again, we're keeping this same area, the middle on the bottom, because that's really the best bang for our buck, I believe. And that's going to give us a plus 10, and it's going to cost us $14,100. If we go to the 3-star, for $31,000, we can get a plus 20 and have it basically fully upgraded. We have just enough money to do this. And as much as the majority of my brain is saying, no, save this money, we're going to go ahead and purchase this part. So let's go ahead and press the A key, purchase and equip. Yes, please. So we just spent all of our money. Now we're going to find out if it was worth it. But before we do that, let's go ahead and come back and sell this part. So our plus 9 part, we want to sell that. $1,445. So not a whole lot that we're going to get back, but we'll take every bit we can get because essentially we don't need that part anymore. So now you notice we're at a plus 96. So now the real question is going to become, as my brain fights over money versus upgrades, what do we do with this suspension for the remainder of the season? And who knows what will happen? Who knows what my mindset will be as we continue on? But one thing I do know for now is that it's time to head to Woodley. Practice and qualifying now in the books, and we were just able to meet our practice goal time, which got us another $450 to $500. I forget exactly how much it was. I generally don't pay a whole lot of attention to it. I just try to meet it and then move on. So at this particular track, it's really hard to meet those goal times because there's so much traffic on the track that it's hard to hit your marks with all the other cars out there, or at least generally that's the way it works out for me. But we did make it this time, and qualifying was essentially the same time, a few hundreds difference there, but we're going to be starting in 11th position. So remember that we don't have the best opportunities at every racetrack. So we'll have some tracks where we will run really well, and then some tracks where we are not good. So this is definitely not one of the tracks where we are right on it, even though in the quick race mode, I can easily outrun the AI, but here, a long way to go before we can do just that. So we're going to be in heat number 3, starting third.
The top 2 move on to the dash.
So starting third here in heat number 3, of course, goal number 1 is to make it to the A main, as this is not going to be one of our stronger tracks right now. However, we're going to start to hone in on those top 2s and try to make the qualifying dash. All right, we've got a car underneath us, so I'm going to give him a little bit of room.
This race has been a great one.
All right, let's see how these guys do. You can see sometimes they just shoot up the track, which is good for us if we can get under them and maintain that position. All right, I have no idea where that guy went. I don't know if we went past him or if he's still up there. But this is the final lap. I'm going to assume we went past him. All right, so as we finish off the event, not a top 2 for sure, but they weren't exactly running away from us very quickly, so we were able to stay in there pretty good. That's going to move us on to the A main, starting in 11th position.
Main event is hitting the racetrack. We have a stacked field tonight. This should be a good one.
Let's hope the announcer's right, and this is a good one. So we're starting in 11th position, and you can see just how many cars are in front of us. 10 cars is a lot. All right, well, again, we're going to jump down here and try to make up all we can. Oh, we got a car under us. Again, I'm not just going to move out of the way and let these guys go. I'm going to give them enough room, but at the same time, we're trying to get back to the bottom. Oh, did not realize there was a guy there. So that purple car that we seem to spend a lot of time racing around.
This race has been a great one. Let's see what we've got the rest of the way.
Ouch. These guys, they do not fear contact, that is for sure. So we're just going to throw it in here with them. If it's contact they want, then we'll try to keep from it, but if it happens, it happens. All right, so sitting here in 10th position, things are starting to spread out a little bit, but we got one car right behind us that definitely would prefer to be in front of us. About halfway through.
Man, that driver is really tearing it up out there. Great lap. The dirt is really flying.
All right, now I'm focused on seeing if we can do anything with these guys in front of us. We don't have any immediate danger from behind. Nobody's really trying to get our spot at this point. Again, easily wide open around this track when you're not in traffic, and a lot of times you can run it wide open easily even when you're in traffic, just depending on what line you get. All right, so 9th position is definitely not running away from us. We are pulling in on them, largely because they are choosing to run the high side. If they continue to run the high side, that's going to give us a shot. All right, I assume that's a lap car. Oh, hello. Yikes. Okay, the leader with not so subtle bump to get us out of the way. Yeah, that's 25th position that we're going by now. And that might do it for any hopes we had of fighting for the 9th position.
One circuit left.
And again, you can see just how far off the pace of the leader we are at this track. I mean, this is a huge amount of deficit to make up, and considering the fact that we're essentially 3/4 of the way upgraded on our car, that is, wow, that'll give you nightmares if you were hoping to move up the finishing order very quickly. So 10th position, which I feel like is a very good finishing position here. We've had some rough races at this track in the past. For whatever reason, our car is just not ready for this track as far as speed goes. We are nowhere near the leaders. You can see we are a lap down. 7 cars ended up on the lead lap, and of course we know exactly who the leader was because he was the one that ran over us as he came through. So Ron Combs ran a great race, winning quite comfortably by 5 seconds plus. Wow. Let's move forward, see what kind of money we'll get, what kind of return. So 10th position, and of course that'll put us in 10th position so far for the season. 10th place seems to be our favorite finishing position so far. $1,409 plus our sponsor and merchandise payout. Notice once again that merchandise payout creeping up a little bit more to $18. And again, the reason I mention that is because if it's anything like the NASCAR Heat Series, that merchandise number will end up being a huge portion of our ultimate profit per race if it goes anything like the NASCAR Heat Series. So we'll follow that along. We're only in the midget cars right now, so I wouldn't expect it to be very much. But once we get up into the 410s in particular and get a lot more fans, then I expect to see that number grow quite a bit. So we'll bring home a total of $2,337 plus the sponsor bonus for practice that we'll see on the summary screen. For today's race, we get credit for moderate driving, which is perfectly fine. In fact, this is the result we've been getting a lot, and this was pretty heavy contact for moderate driving this time. But we only lose 2 points of performance, so not bad at all. We do lose some durability that we fix between each and every race, but overall, not bad at all. Our top 10 finish is exactly what we needed for our sponsor goal of 3 top 10s within 5 races. First 2 races of the season, 2 top 10. So we are well on our way to meeting that if we can keep up this level of performance. Including our sponsor bonus for practice, we end up with $2,786, leaving us a bank balance of $5,763. Pick up 12 new fans for a new total of 351. So we're getting somewhere. Our total number of fans is growing, and along with that, the money we make from our merchandise sales. So everything is going in the right direction. We just need to keep it going. But that's going to do it for today. Thank you very much for joining me, and stay tuned for more Tony Stewart Sprint Car Racing.